Bro, let me tell you something. Most men aren't struggling with women because they're not good looking enough, or because they don't know what to say. That's not the real issue. The real problem is that they don't understand what's happening. They're lost in a cloud of confusion. You've probably been there. One moment, a woman seems completely into you. She texts first, laughs at everything you say, tells you how amazing you are. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, she pulls away. She becomes distant, cold, like you're suddenly invisible. And you're left asking yourself, what just happened? Here's the truth. Nobody tells you. Women don't operate in a straight line. They're not consistent the way men expect them to be. Their behavior isn't guided by logic the same way yours might be. It's guided by emotion, by what they feel in the moment. So when a woman tells you she loves you, she probably does. Right then, in that moment, she means it. But when those feelings fade, because feelings do change, she might pull away. And if you're still holding on to what she said 2 weeks ago, you're going to be stuck, trying to make sense of something that doesn't follow rules. What most men don't realize is that women's emotions are fluid. They don't stay in one state, they shift, change, ebb, and flow. That doesn't make women manipulative. It makes them emotional. But if you expect her to stay emotionally where she was when she said she liked you, you're going to feel blindsided when she acts differently tomorrow. This is why so many guys get played without realizing it. They hold onto her words like they're promises carved in stone, while ignoring the fact that her actions have already changed. Her behavior has shifted. The vibe isn't the same, but because she once told you she cared, you keep holding on. Now, here's the key. Stop listening to what she says and start watching what she does. Her words might sound sweet, she might say all the right things, but if she's constantly canceling plans, taking hours to respond to messages, or being emotionally unavailable, those actions speak louder than anything coming out of her mouth. When you learn to read her behavior instead of clinging to her words, the confusion fades. It all becomes clear. A woman might say she's just figuring things out or that she's not ready for something serious. But while she's saying that, she's out giving her energy to someone else. That's your answer right there. You don't need an official breakup. Her behavior has already done the talking. And this is where most guys trip up. They think if they just wait it out, give her space, or prove how loyal and loving they are, she'll come back. But that kind of thinking only makes things worse. You end up chasing someone who's already mentally checked out. What you have to understand is that a woman's emotional distance is not always something you caused. It's often just how her emotional cycle works. And when you try to force closeness or demand answers, you're only pushing her further away. Why? Because you're asking for logic where there isn't any. You're trying to fix something emotional with words and reason, and that's not how emotion works. See, the mistake isn't thinking that if you can just explain yourself better or have one more deep conversation, everything will be okay. But that's not how attraction works. Attraction isn't built on logic. It's built on energy, on presence, on how you make her feel, and not how many promises you can recite. And here's a harsh truth that stings. A woman can lose interest even if you're doing everything right. You could be consistent, kind, emotionally available, and still, she might drift. Not because you're not enough, but because the emotional charge isn't there anymore. That's what most men don't get. It's not about being perfect, but about being someone she feels something around. If there's no spark, no tension, no emotional depth, she'll subconsciously disconnect, even if you're a great guy. And when that happens, a lot of men panic. They start doing more, texting more, trying harder, and that's the exact thing that kills the little attraction that's left. Because now, you flip the energy. You're chasing, and she's retreating. The more you push, the more she pulls. What you need to do instead is pull your energy back. Not out of spite, not to play games, but because you respect yourself enough to not chase someone who's acting unsure about you. When a woman starts to act cold or confusing, most of the time, it's a test. Not always intentional, but it's a way of asking, can you stay grounded while I'm being emotional? Can you remain calm, collected, and centered when things feel chaotic? And if you can't, if you start acting desperate, if you get needy, if you blow up her phone looking for clarity, she loses respect. Not because you're a bad person, but because you're showing her you can't hold emotional pressure. Women are deeply drawn to emotional strength, and not just physical strength and financial strength. The kind of inner calm that says, I'm good with or without your approval. That's the energy that makes her feel safe. It's also the energy that makes her curious about you, because when you stop reacting to her mood swings and stop trying to fix everything, you become mysterious, unshakable, and that is attractive. When you're too available, too predictable, too eager, there's nothing left for her to figure out. And if she doesn't feel like there's anything left to explore, the emotional interest starts to fade. This is where a lot of guys lose her, and they don't even realize it. They think being all in is the way to her heart. But what she actually wants is emotional polarity. That feeling of being drawn in, of wondering what you're thinking, of not fully knowing what's next. When you show her all your cards too early, there's no chase, no mystery. And when there's no mystery, there's no spark. This doesn't mean you should be cold or manipulative. It means you should have a life, a mission, standards. It means your world shouldn't revolve around her. You invite her in, but you don't build your identity around her present. If she pulls away, you don't chase, you observe. If her behavior changes, you match her energy not because you're trying to win, but because you respect yourself enough to not invest in someone who's not investing back. You've got to stop taking everything personally. Her emotional shifts aren't always about you. Sometimes they're just her process. And if you keep trying to solve that with logic or emotion, you'll exhaust yourself trying to manage something that's not even yours to manage. Your job isn't to stabilize her emotions. It's to remain stable within yourself. This is how you regain your power. When you stop chasing clarity from someone who's already shown you through their actions that they're not emotionally aligned with you, you free yourself. You stop being confused when you accept that her actions matter more than her words. That someone who really wants to be in your life won't confuse you. They'll show up consistently, they'll make effort, they'll bring clarity and not chaos. And once you learn to trust yourself more than you trust mixed signals, you'll stop needing closure. You'll stop trying to make sense of emotional inconsistency. You'll see it for what it is, and you'll walk away without second guessing. Because here's the truth, the right woman doesn't leave you in emotional limo. Yes, she might have moments of doubt, but overall, her energy will be steady. You won't have to decode her texts. You won't need to guess where you stand. You'll feel it, and you'll know.